Welcome back to Out of Her Mind with Kobe Pollock. Today I have a very special guest. Sally Prosser is an inspiration to me. She's a woman that's been in and out of my life for a few years now, and she currently is my own voice coach. So I'm so excited to have her here to share her knowledge, her expertise, and her voice with us today. She is a voice and communications advisor, a TEDx speaker, the author of her book Voiceprint, and host of That Voice podcast. Over the past 20 years, she's helped hundreds of professionals to speak with more confidence, had a career as a TV news reporter, and built a community of over 300,000 people on TikTok. She lives in Brisbane, and her hobbies include jigsaw puzzles, Pilates, and gaming the frequent flyer program, which I need to learn more about. So welcome, Sally. It's so great to have you here today.
Oh, Kobe, it is such a joy to speak to you.
Now, before we get started, I would love to just pull a card. Now, Sally, as part of her book Voiceprint, also has these amazing Voiceprint codes. So I am going to pull a card just to see what direction this podcast will lead in. They're really beautiful. They're so gorgeous.
So beautiful, aren't they? Yeah. And the cards never lie. So let's see what we've got.
Celebrate your voice. It's as unique as your fingerprint.
Yes.
And that is so appropriate because one of the first things that I wanted to speak into and ask you about is the way that you speak about our voice print.
That card is card 1, I believe, in the deck.
It is too. Yes.
Yeah.
We started
Celebrate your voice. It's as unique as your fingerprint. You know, we think about our fingerprint and our footprint. What about our voice print? It's that invisible mark we leave on the world every time we speak. And some people leave a stronger mark behind than others. And so the idea of the voice print is no one has a voice like yours. It's your unique auditory DNA, I call it. It's a sound souvenir that can only come from you. And the idea is to lean into that unique, beautiful voice that you have and make sure that you leave that mark behind when you speak.
That's so beautiful. And something that popped up for me this morning was a question around how does our voice print change throughout our lives?
Yeah, well, I would say our voice definitely changes. If you've listened to yourself on recording from, even a few years ago, you're probably going, oh, gee, things have changed. Our voice changes, not just with age, because our body changes. It also changes with the seasons. It changes with our mood. It even changes with our cycle as women.
Yeah.
So it's this beautiful barometer for what's going on. Often you can diagnose a lot through the voice, and it's being really accepting of that evolution, loving your voice in all its stages. I love the voice I had, I love the voice I have, and I love the voice I will have. So it's all stages of that. In terms of the voice print, the mark we leave behind, we all have different seasons, I believe. We have seasons where we're maybe not speaking as much, seasons where we are speaking. And I would just say we want that to be by our own agency, by our own choice. We're not speaking because we feel like we're not worthy, or we feel like we're not good enough, or we feel like we don't want to look stupid. We want to be not speaking because we are in our queendom and in our power and saying, yes, right now, I'm choosing not to speak.
Yes, because not speaking is still a response, isn't it?
Yeah. And we want not speaking and speaking to be a choice that comes from us, not something that's controlled by external forces that often come from fear. I was just seeing a client this morning, and the question was, Sal, I always say at the end of my sentences, does that make sense? Or do you know what I mean?
I've done that in the past too.
And that makes sense. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, because often we, might need to ask, is that making sense? But we've got to look a bit deeper. And if we're doing it as a subconscious pattern, I know on this podcast, Kobe, you talk about the subconscious and, how do we consciously get a hold of something if we're doing it subconsciously? But what that is saying is it's saying that I need you to tell me I am worthy, because chances are what you said makes perfect sense. But you're asking, am I worthy? And rather than the question, am I worthy, we want to flip that to I am worthy as the default. So not am I worthy, I am worthy. And that's why so much of the work, as you well know, Kobe, is with the inner voice, because our sound is sabotaged or supported before it's even made.
Yes, that voice we hear the most in our lives is our own voice. So let's make it a good voice and an inspiring voice and a voice that lifts us up.
Oh my gosh, there's enough critical voices in the world. We don't need one living inside our head.
Yes, yes. And so actually something that came up at my Out of Her Mind event on the weekend was around women not feeling like they can speak up, feeling like they've actually lost their voice. What do you feel like is going on there for women? Is that the not worthy again?
Could be so much, and in the work you do, this is why it's so important, because you can get to the bottom of what that is. Did they share any more context around what that meant? In what way did they feel like they didn't have their voice?
It was more in the way that they couldn't speak up about things, couldn't say how they were feeling, and couldn't express that. There was a lot of talk about fear there.
Yeah, and the pattern I see often, I can't speak for individuals, I can speak to patterns, is really that people-pleasing tendency. So as women, we're conditioned from a young age to keep the peace, to not rock the boat, to manage other people's emotions. So if you grew up in a household where you were walking on eggshells because of the temper of a parent, or usually a parent, then often you'll go into relationships where you also feel like you're walking on eggshells and you have to edit what you say before you say it, because you can see what the consequences of certain things being said will be. And it does take work. I had a relationship myself, I write about it in Voiceprint, where I did feel like I was walking on eggshells and my voice completely retreated because it was a safer place to be. There was fear. I did feel like there was danger around speaking because my words were not believed. They were being twisted and thrown back at me. It was a lying situation, and then I didn't even know what was real. The word gaslighting gets thrown around a little bit, but it is, when it's real, it can really make you doubt your reality. And this can cause your voice to retreat. And so what I would say is we want to surround ourselves with people and get into relationships where we can speak freely, where we can be with people where we can say what we want. It won't always be maybe the right thing or the best thing, but we don't feel unsafe in doing that.
Yeah, I think it comes down to that safety, isn't it? That safety to be seen, to be heard, and accepted exactly as we are.
And know that we don't exist to manage the emotions of other people.
Yeah.
It's a hard one for women because, especially from young age, it's often how you're taught to be. So it's doing that work of, no, you are the main character in your life. You are worthy to be heard. You are worthy to live with the joy of freedom of expression, to self-express. Kobe, at the moment, I haven't shared this with anyone. I don't know when this is going to come out, so
Yeah.
I'm currently on a Monday night doing burlesque dance classes.
Ooh, I love that. So great.
It's so out of my comfort zone because I am not that great at dancing. And I was looking for something to just help me feel more in my body and have that freedom to express. I just turned 40 last year and I was experiencing a little bit of a feeling of a dull down. Maybe women listening can relate to that. So it's the opposite of a glow up. Rather than a glow up, I was just feeling like everything was just a bit...
Yeah, I've been there.
my mood, my hair, my skin, my weight,
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh, I need something to just reignite the feminine spark and wake up the mind a little bit. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go and do burlesque dancing. It is funny. Oh my gosh, Kobe. It is body rolls. It is butt jiggling. It is like little thrusts and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's such a good way to feel that freedom of expression. And as a self-expresser like me, I teach voice. I feel like I self-express quite well. I've been pushed up against an edge in these classes going, oh gosh, I'm holding back.
Yeah.
So this is what I'd say if you're struggling to find your voice, look at areas in your life where you might be able to push that self-expression a bit more. Because if you can express in your body, or even if it's through art or photography or usually something creative, then that will translate to how confident and free you feel using your voice as well.
So this is almost like a chicken and an egg question. Do you believe that confidence comes before using your voice or because of it?
So confidence is a feeling, not a fact. It's transient. just like happiness. So if we accept that confidence is like an emotion, it's something we have to work on, something we have to cultivate. And this is the thing you see with happiness a lot. Like, I'll be happy when I do this. I'll be happy once I get this house and get this job and get this person. And then you get there and you go, okay, not happy.
Yeah.
You realise,
Where is it?
where is the happiness? Where is the confidence? And that's an error that we make. They want to find confidence like it's some sort of treasure. And then once you find it, you've got it forever. Oh, no, 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 no. Like, I know a lot of really confident people. I know a lot of people would consider me to be quite a confident person. I've got to train it. I've got to train the confidence. It's through like mirror work, looking in the mirror, saying, hello, you beautiful woman. Today I choose an ally, not an enemy, and you and me are going to slay the day. And I did a workshop yesterday in front of a bunch of women, and I was telling them about mirror work, and they were like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. And I find it interesting that we find it so crazy to look at ourselves in the mirror and speak kind words.
Right? We say all these kind words to everyone else, but what about ourselves?
Yes, that's
We
just
know
one small
everyone else.
example of what you can do to build the confidence. But just
great.
seeing it as something that is like a garden that needs to be cultivated, I think is really helpful for people, because if you get into that mindset of, oh, well, she's got the gift of the gab, she's got the confidence and I don't, then we can fall into this victim mindset of, oh, well, I just don't have it, so what am I going to do? Whereas everybody can have it. It's just like any other emotion. And if you are human, you can have access to all of the emotions.
Yeah. And those people doing those really cool things that you see doing those things, they're only there because they've stepped outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah, well, I mean, the dancing is a good example for me, because I was feeling just a little bit flat, and like, you know, even when good things were happening, I wasn't feeling that particularly joyful about it. I was just feeling like, oh, just the grind, the mundane. I know the women you work with often can feel that same kind of thing. Like, when is life going to get really great? When? And something that I, as you know, Kobe, I always talk about in my coaching is we can't sit and wait for anything. We have to create the conditions for it, create the conditions for confidence, which involves putting yourself in these uncomfortable situations. As humans, we love comfort, but we also want growth. And even though it feels a bit uncomfortable, I know you're going through this at the moment as well, which is really exciting. It feels uncomfortable, but it's so worth it, because it's so much better to grow and go to the other side of that than to really sit in the stagnant stew of the comfort zone. People think it's comfortable, but it's really icky. The comfort zone is like, you know, when you've just had a massive veg day and you're like, I got to get in the shower.
Yeah. Wash it off.
I need to wash it off.
Yeah. Yeah, so at the moment, and by the time this gets released, it will be out and live, so I can share it now. I am currently stepping into doing my first radio ad. And so being on the edge of actually being heard and seen, although heard on the radio, locally, like to a bigger audience. And for the first few days, I think it's 2 or 3 days, 8 times a day, my ad is going to be on the radio.
So good, Kobe.
So
this is so great.
there's no escaping that. And that level of visibility is bringing up so much discomfort within my body. And though I know that that version of me that I see as this successful business owner helping so many more women around mindset and wellness, this is what I need to be doing. And it's doing the things that other people aren't doing too, I think.
Most people don't take action because it is scary. And so when you do, it's inevitable that you'll have success. And last year was the year of the snake. This is the year of the fire horse everybody's talking about. Yet I believe whenever we're pushing that comfort zone, trying something new, it is like we're shedding a skin. It is that growing pain of like one version coming off and a new version coming in.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's this great line in what was my dad's favourite film called The Shawshank Redemption. And he says, get busy living or get busy dying. My dad used to always say that quote, get busy living or get busy dying. And the alternative to that is if we're not growing, we're disintegrating. There is no like plateau, there is no staying, there is always change. And so a choice not to take action is actually a choice to start disintegrating. And when you hear stuff like that, you're like, oh my God. So growth really is the only way if we don't want to go into decay.
Yeah, I love that. So you speak into vocal fitness quite a bit, and how using your voice is similar to actually training a muscle. What are some small practical ways that women can start to use and strengthen their voice daily?
Yes, absolutely. So our voice is an instrument we need to practice. Even our voice box, our voice runs from the soles of our feet to the crown of our head, but our voice box alone has about 19 different muscles that need to all coordinate, which is why when you've got a sore throat, it really hurts. The daily hum. The daily hum. When you're in the shower or, getting the lunches ready for school, just take a deep breath in and hum. It's so great. It actually activates the vagus nerve. So especially if you're feeling stressed, it will help you go into that parasympathetic nervous system. Also, humming releases nitric oxide, which has been shown to be the body's natural antibacterial and antiviral. So especially coming into flu season in winter, cold season, it's a good little natural remedy. And it gets the air flowing, the vocal cords waking up, and it's so easy to do while you're doing something else. So the daily hum, and if you want to go a step further as well, the daily jaw stretch. So I have the exercise called the surprised donkey. The kids love this one. So the surprised donkey is E-or, ah, E-or, because a lot of people don't even really open their jaw very much. Yeah. And it comes as well from it not being very polite. Like you're not supposed to show people what you had for breakfast or anything like that. Like opening your mouth feels a bit rude. But really, if we stretch those muscles in the jaw, then speaking will rapidly improve. So even if you are working a job where you're on the phone, or if you're doing a presentation or a meeting at work, or even running after school sport, kids sport.
Yeah.
Actually, the mums listening probably have this in check because they're used to casting their voice out across the household. But yeah, daily hum, jaw stretch.
Amazing. I love that. 2 powerful ways women can add it in, and talking in the mirror as well. Like you mentioned before, such a powerful way. I actually love practicing my speaking in the shower or in the car as well. And quite often I'll actually record myself so that I can listen back and go, okay, what did that actually sound like? And it's funny, you were talking earlier about our past, present and future voice. I remember recording my voice as a child, and we all hated our voice. And I used to feel like I sounded like this little kid, and it was tinny and it was up here. And though I feel like through working with you, it comes from my heart now. Like it comes from deep within. Whereas in the past, it was very much, oh, I'm not so sure of myself. What am I saying? Lacking that confidence. And it was very up here and questioning a lot of things too. So I think that's been really powerful in working with you and being able to actually speak from my heart as opposed to being in my mind and speaking at the same time.
And I love that this podcast is called Out of Her Mind, because this is a lot of the work that we do with voice. As women, our power, as men as well, but our power is really in the solar plexus area, which is just below the sternum. That's our self-worth and our self-power, and we've got that beautiful heart space as well. Yet so often we're taught just for our voice to sit up in the head. It's the, I don't want to be a bitch.
Yeah.
Just, I'm fine, don't worry.
Yeah.
It's often the people-pleasing voice up here because we think, oh, it sounds friendlier. But it's really disconnected from our body. It's not an embodied voice. And this is called Out of Her Mind. And as you well know, working with me, one of the biggest things I do with voices is get them out of the head and back into the body.
Yeah. So powerful. Amazing, Sal. Thank you so much for being here today. I would love you to share a little bit more about your book with us, the listeners. Now I can't talk.
Voiceprint, yes. Voiceprint, How to Leave a Lasting Impression Every Time You Speak. It is in a paperback and also an audio book, which is a really great way to listen to this because it is a book about voice. And there's lots of voice exercises, which I did struggle to write down. I was like, how am I going to write this without giving the example of it?
Yes.
So the thing about Voiceprint is not like any other public speaking book that you've read. I've had enough reviews come in now that I can share this confidently, which is great because I did not want it to come across like another how-to self-help book. So it's full of lots of stories. A lot of people have said it's funny, which is great because if you're reading it and you think, is this a joke? Yes, it is. So it's lots of stories, lots of practical exercises, and it's not just for people who want to be a professional speaker, actually quite the opposite. I've written it to be for every single person who has a voice, which you could argue is every single person.
Yes, yes. It does. It resonates in so many different ways for me, both personally as well as professionally. And it really has helped me to actually look at some of the concepts, use those tools. And I listen to the audiobook version as well as having the hard copy because I love having those little books in my hands. And I found the audiobook so valuable in being able to practice.
Yeah, if you've ever felt like you haven't had your voice, this book is for you. If you've ever needed to use your voice, professionally or personally, this book is for you. And if you also believe in spirituality and energetics and the chakra system, then this book is for you, because I also talk about the voice as being an energetic channel, and there's a whole chapter on how to manifest with your voice as well.
Yes, I love that you bring the spiritual aspect into this as well. It's so great. And actually, something I also wanted to touch on that we haven't at this stage is about how your voice can actually become something that brings joy and not that pressure. Tell me about that.
It's a really interesting question, and I believe it is. So, you can't be nervous if you stand in service. Your voice is a gift. And when other people feel the vibrations of our voice, because this is what we want to work towards, people not just hearing us, but feeling us, having this real effect on the way people feel. This is the beauty of our voice. And if we speak with more joy, it's been proven that it helps other people feel more joy, and also that it feeds back to ourselves as well. This is a crazy study. So say you've got some bad news or an email you didn't want to get. The science shows if you say, well, this is a terrible email, isn't it? Shocking, I can't believe they've said that to me. The science shows that the way that you speak about it affects the way you feel about it. By being more joyful or happier or anything in the family of positive emotions while you're speaking, then that will feed back to yourself.
Yeah, and they also say that like when you speak with a smile, you can hear it.
Yeah, definitely.
And when you were talking about that, actually saying like, I got a terrible email, but in a really happy and positive voice, it made me automatically think about animals, specifically my dogs, and how you can say the worst thing to them, but in the most amazing little sexy voice, and they're like, oh, I love you. And it is, it's that, it's almost like the intention behind it as well, really, isn't it?
And that's what vocal alignment is. We talk about alignment. It's when the voice matches the words, matches the intention. So that example about the email, that's what science shows will help you feel better. But it's not an aligned voice because the words don't match the voice. We want them all to be together. I worked with a group yesterday, and every group I work with mentions this when it comes to pets or children. There's the suggestion, which often comes from the head. Oh, could you go and have your shower now? And then the suggestion turns into the instruction of get in the shower.
Yes.
And so we know that the different places in the body that we use the same words even can have a totally different effect. And that's the area I work in. Like, let's bring together the intention of what you're saying with the words that you're using and the voice that you're delivering it with. And when all of that comes together, that's when we come across as our authentic selves.
Yes.
Often when we feel like something's not really real or it's a bit off, it's usually because one of those things is out of alignment.
And I love how you speak into authenticity. It's just so powerful. In this day, people want realness. We want to know what actually people think and how they feel and what is true for them so that they can relate to that. One of my biggest sayings is women don't heal alone. We heal in the reflections of each other. And it's just being able to share our own story so that other people can feel seen, heard, and accepted exactly as they are is so powerful.
The power of being witnessed. This is why events like you hold, women's circles and women being together is so powerful, because it's one thing to share our voice, but when we share our voice and we're witnessed by other women, that's where so much of the potency is. And that's why in my book I share lots of stories. That's why I'm very open because you learn that this is how we heal, by hearing our experience through other people. That makes us feel so much less alone.
Yeah.
So I really believe that we need to speak and share our experiences. Brené Brown says shame cannot survive the spoken word.
Yeah.
It cannot survive having words wrapped around us.
Yeah.
And that shame that so many people hold in is affecting the flow of their voice. And in the book, you mentioned perfectionism. I share people don't want flawless, they want realness. And with AI at the moment, it's almost like the more mistakes you make, the better it is. Because people were like, that's not AI. If she's making a bit of a mistake and stumbling here, there, everywhere, like it's obviously her. And I'm glad that there is a human there. Yeah. And so really letting that go, letting go of the control of things being the way we want them to be. Last night, Kobe, I don't know if you saw my stories, but I was just about to give a national webinar for PSA, Professional Speakers Australia, all about voice, a big webinar. And as you can see now, I've got quite a good setup. Everything's great. 2 minutes to 6, bang, blackout. 900 properties without power. So no slides, no microphone. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And so in that moment, I can't control that. I can't control the power being out. I was just so lucky my phone was on full charge and I used the light of my laptop to just join on my phone. And they were like, oh, do you want to keep going? I'm like, oh, well, it's up to you.
Amazing.
But
good
let's
on
carry
you
on.
on continuing through
Yeah,
that.
and so it just reminded me that so often we want everything to be perfect in order to use our voice. I'll use my voice when the conditions are perfect. They never are. The conditions are never perfect. The timing is never ideal. And so it's just about getting out there and leaving your gorgeous, grubby voice prints over every room that you walk into.
Oh, I love that. Your voice print is so important. I'd love for you to share with us what else you have going on. How can people find you and where do you share your knowledge and your inspiration?
Well, if you're a podcast person, I'd love you to jump over to That Voice podcast, where I share solo episodes, guests, similar to you, Kobe, actually, the setup with that. And you can find me, sallyprosser.com.au, or on any of the socials at sallyprosservoice. I'd love to hear from you. Slide into my DMs. I've also got a little course called the Magnetic Voice Formula, which gives you the foundations of speaking. I mentioned earlier about how your sound is sabotaged or supported before it's even made. So this is the little 3 steps that you need to do before you even speak, and that course is free. So I'll share the link with you so you can share that too.
We'll pop that in the show notes. Thank you so much.
And the book. Oh my gosh, Kobe.
And the book, yes, of course.
Being a bad coach, do as I say, not as I do. My goodness, please buy the book Voiceprint. It's a really great read.
It is absolutely amazing, and she has these, I just hit myself in the face, Voiceprint codes as well. So that card that we pulled today is Celebrate Your Voice. It is as unique as your fingerprint. So relevant and so great. Thank you so much, Sal.
Kobe, this has been so great. Great to see you, and I'll be seeing you very soon.
Thank you so much for either watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast app. I'm so glad that you were here to listen to Sally and I having a great chat all about our voice print. If this resonated with you, I'd love for you to share in the comments. What was your favorite part? Do you have any questions to follow on from this? And if you did like it, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast for other people to find this as well. And if there's something that you'd like me to speak into, someone that you'd like me to speak to, let me know and let's make it happen. Until next time, take a breath.